Hello there all, this is the Cyber Sector Initiative Zone, back at it with another video for you guys today. Sorry about that. Alright, so we're back at it with another lab. This is going to be my last lab for today. So, this is going to be a pretty good, quick and easy lab. I actually like this lab. We're going to be managing file permissions. This is going to give us a little rundown of like us working as like a security team member to work with configuring Linux file permissions. So basically, we're going to be managing share permissions on Windows and file permissions, and we're going to be exploring different security functions and file permission settings. So this is going to be fun. Let's get right into it, and I'm going to move forward with this, and let's go. Okay, so now that we're here, uh, we're going to sign in. We're going to just type in root and then type in password. And let's see, we got this, put that in, and we should be good to go. And there we go. So now that we have that, we should be set to go, and we shouldn't be far away from getting all of our stuff done. So once we have that complete, um, hold on, give me 1 second. I just need to pause real quick. Alright, I'm back. So let's get this completed. After we had signed into our Kali Linux terminal, well, our main like account that we sign in. If you're doing this like at home, just pretty much make your own account and then start from there. We need to open up terminal. So once we're here, click on terminal and then type in pwd. This is going to present our working directory. And then once we're here, it should be /root. So we're going to be right here, and we now need to type in ls-l, and let's see what we got. So now we have a lot of files in front of us. Once we make it here, we do ls-l and then te @risk. Press enter. So once we have that, we should basically see that the contents of the present working file directory. So this is going to be like the long list format to see all of our files. So it says right here, what is the initial permissions of the test file? So we go down here to test file and we see our permissions right here. This is always going to be like the most confusing thing for anybody that doesn't understand Linux. But I will tell you, just for anybody that ever works with Linux, you have to understand your security permissions as far as like your read permission, your execute permission, your write permission, your I want to say I'm not supremely great with it, but I understand the permissions, and it's pretty hard, I will say, because Linux is not like Windows where you could just go right into the file and say, okay, such and such test file has these permissions. So I will just put that out there. This is a little bit difficult, but if you take the time to study and understand what it is, you'll understand it very quickly. And I myself, I'm still learning, so I myself like still have some issues dealing with initial permission settings with Linux. But I just want to put that out as a disclaimer. But I think this is a read write permission symbol, so I'm gonna click on this option, -RW -R, two double dashes R. Let's see if we got that. There we go, we got that. But I just wanted to put that out there for those of you that that are a little bit confused with that. These are like initial permissions symbols, like a symbol settings for Linux. But if you guys want to learn more about that, just go on to YouTube, and that'll give you a really good breakdown of like what Linux file permissions are, and you'll understand things a lot very quickly on YouTube on how to master that very quickly. So once we're here, we have to put in chmod u+x test file .txt. So once we're here, you press on enter, and we should be right here. And we have to put in ls space -l Yeah, I'll just put TE, just like auto populate that. Just press your right key arrow and press enter. This is going to be our results, and now we see we have different writing permissions, because what do we do right here? We put in a change modification u plus x onto text file, and you can see right here that this is totally different from what we saw initially with test file. And the test file document, well, the test file file permissions were completely different for what we put in for the modification for our writing permissions for our file. So now that we're done with that, you put in chmod space g plus w, and then test file dot txt. Now that we have that, we doing this. You do ls minus l, and then te, and then we press enter. So now that we're done with that, we now see our results have changed. So we have a whole totally different section of changed file permissions or read permissions per se. So these are just like permission changes that we're doing with our file, and we're just messing around with it to kind of like change the file permissions of the test file. So we're gonna do like another one. We're gonna type in chmod. Let's see, chmod space go dash r. Put in the little comma symbol, u minus x, and then space test file dot txt. This is going to remove the file permissions from the group owner and others, and it will also remove the execute permission from the user owner. So now that we have that, you do ls list te. That's good. That's just going to give you like the test writing. That's going to give you the results for the file permissions. So what ended up happening here is that we now basically removed the read permission from the group owner and others. So it basically removed the execute permission from the user owner. So therefore, it does not have to execute permissions in order to basically process like the file. So it's a little bit tricky, but you could see now it's just basically saying dash rww, and I think these are just like write permissions if I'm not to be mistaken. But this is basically just intercepting a whole different change within what the um, write permissions for what test file has the ability to be used for, based on limited restriction. Yeah, on based on limited restricted permissions of what it's able to do. So now that we're done with that, we have to now do another change mod to do chmod space 777 space test file dot txt. This is going to assign the read, write, and execute permissions to user owner. And the reason why that I said read, write, execute, you can see right here, this is R, this is W, and this is X. What do these mean by variable, by variable definitions? Most likely, X represents executing, and I believe W means write, and R means to read. So that's always something. If you guys ever see that within, let's just say, I don't know, if you're ever taking the Security Plus exam, and you have to work with like a particular lab, or just like a little tiny lab where you have to like change read write permissions into Linux, that is going to be difficult, and I will tell you, you need to understand that. Like I said, just to not eat up some time, be sure to go to YouTube and you'll find that information properly. Because once you learn how to understand read write permissions onto Linux, that's going to help you a whole long way if you ever have to deal with that within a job setting. Because it's not like Windows, and it's very difficult to do, and it's not something that everybody can understand. And it definitely takes some time to understand like what you need to do, because it's going to be something that you're probably going to be tested on, and you don't know what will happen in a particular job setting if you ever see that one day. So what I am going to be doing next, I'm going to be doing a change modification 740 on the test file. this is going to assign the RWX to user owner, and it's going to assign R to the group owner. So it's going to give read permissions to group owner, but nothing to others. So we're going to do that, and then we're going to just type this in to list our results. And now you can see a change with it where what we did initially, we did something a little bit different with a 777 test file that gave read, write, and execute permissions to user owner, group owner, and others. So everybody had all those permissions. But 740 change mod gave only commands to user owner, and the R or the read, yeah, but the read permission was given to the group owner, but 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 basically nothing to all the other owners. So yeah, let's just speed run this. I don't want to hold you guys up. So what we're gonna be doing right here, we're gonna be doing a different change permission. It's called change mod 654 space test file .txt. So now that we have that, we get that going. You can see right here, everything got changed from the read execute permission to group owner, and the read permission got assigned to all the other owners. So, well, all the other like accounts on the particular file that have permission to it. So let's do a different one. We're gonna do change mod 644 to test file .txt. This is going to assign read and write permissions to the owner, and the read permissions go to the group owner, and the R permission goes to the rest of the other account users. So once we do that, we just list it, and you can see right here our changes have been met, and we were able to get that successfully changed. So now the question that we have right here: what symbolic representation could be applied to the demo.sh file to enforce full access for the user owner, execute access for the group owner, but no access to others? Okay, that is going to be extremely difficult to answer. But I want to say, if I am correct, I am going to. Hmm, let's go with this one. I'm feeling lucky with this one. All right. Yeah, there we go. Yeah. See, that was very difficult, but you want to know why I said this? Because it said right here, enforce full access for the user owner, execute access for group owner, but no access for the others. So this is probably saying user for the U, read, write, execute. G, representing your group owner, having execute and read, write permissions, but others. You see this minus sign? That's basically removing permissions for everybody else onto that account, like, file permission access. So I think that's what signifies that particular scenario that said give full access to the user owner, but execute access for only the group owner, but the no access for others. So the U represents the user, and then the G represents your group owner. So two different users and group. Yeah, let the user and group owner have have different permissions of access, but it's executed in a different manner. So all right, let's see what we can do in this one. It's saying right here, using octal representation in the box below, type in the 3-digit box. Wait, what? This is difficult. Wow. Using octal representation in the box below, type in the 3-digit octal value set permissions on demo. Oh, demo file .sh should be limited to full access for the owner, execute access for the group, but no access for others. Wow, this is okay. This is gonna be tough. Uh, Hold on, give me 1 second. I need to find this information. Hold on. Okay, so I found the answer. So what we have to do is that we have to find the octal representation of our file. So I'm going to do this command right here, ls-l, and then you put in your file demo file.sh. So you see right here, this is our read, write, execute permission coding for this file. Most likely, I want to say this is 777, so I'm going to type that in, and that should be our representation for this file permission setting. Let's see if we get that. and we should get the right answer, hopefully. Okay, so that's possibly not the answer. Hold on, give me 1 second. Okay, I'm gonna try a different value. I want to say I was a little bit off. Let me try 710. This could work. All right, we got it. So now that we have that, we have to type this in chmod 710. Sorry about that. Demo file .sh. Click on enter, and then now that we have that, we have to now click on type this in, type this bad boy in, ls-l to view the results, and let's find our file. All right, we see it right here. We changed the permissions for the file, and the permissions is now dash rwx dash dash x three triple dashes. So yeah, now that we have that, we now have to enter dot / demo file .sh to discover important function of the script. All right, so we have this. Let's do the cat command to see the code, and let's see what we got. This is probably going to give us what we need. Oh, there we go. So this is the code that we have for the demo file. This is showing like all the internal code that was put in for what we had to capture for our data. And yeah, we got that done, and we are set to go with that. So, all right, let's just speed run this. Let's get this done. So now that we're here, let's go to the Windows computer, and we're going to be signing in as Jamie. And what we have to do right here is that we have to go into her accounts, and we have to basically, put some information in. We got to get a little bit technical. Uh, so let's see. We're going to go right in. I'm going to Cert Alt Delete, and let's see. I'm going to put in password. Just auto populate that. If you're doing it by yourself, you could just make up a password and just sign in with a particular account. So once we're here, um, click on your little search bar icon. Uh, we have this. Type in PowerShell. Run this as an admin, by the way, just to let you guys know. Run this as an administrator. Click on yes. Once we're here, you have to type in cd c drive / lab files. Once you have that, press enter, and then we have to enter this in. We have to put an iCals .CompTia logo .jpg. Once you have that, it's going to give us information to view the permissions of the currently assigned to this file. So it says right here within our CompTia logo, it looks to be assigned to everyone. So, well, actually, no. Let's see. I'm going to assume that this is a modify control. It says what permissions are assigned to users group for the CompTia, CompTia local JPEG file. Let's try modify. Okay, that is not correct. Let's see. What do we have to? Yeah, I'm going to assume it's none. Let's see what we got right there. Oh, okay. Let's see what we have to see. I'm going to assume full control. Let's try that. Full control? Okay, no, it's read and execute. Okay, so looking at this, I want to say at this code, if I'm reading this correctly, it's basically saying what permissions are assigned to the users, assigned, yeah, to the users group for the CompTia logo JPEG, and I think what I'm seeing here, it says JPEG everyone. Parentheses IM, NT Authority System, IF, built-in administrators, IF. Oh, okay, I think I see what I see. So, oh, I think I know exactly what this is. So, this is telling you everything of what permissions that are granted to the administrator and the users. So, you see right here, read, execute. So, that's what I forgot to see right here. It didn't have anything to do with like modify or full control, because full control would be right here for the administrator. So the system is built in with the administrator to give the administrator full control. and I think the I symbol represents I forgot what that represents. I think that just gives a particular systems administrator to look at um, information to identify the permissions for the file. But I do know that F definitely represents full control. So that should be, yeah, that basically just gives us like a built-in acronym meaning to see what we need to look at. So okay, let's get this done. We're basically almost at the finish line. So once we're done with that, we got to put in iCals. Let me just extend this out for you guys if you guys need to type this in. Put in iCals.CompTia logo JPEG deny Dylan. So we need a denied read permission to a user named Dylan. We put this in. Dylan does not have permission access anymore. So now we need to look at our test result out of that. So you can see right here, CompTia-logo.jpg, structurality / Dylan deny right here, read permission. So he does not have permission to access that file if he wants to click into the CompTia logo file. So now that we're done with that, you put in this code here to grant full control to a user, that being Dylan again. So now that we're done with that, we're going to look into our results. And you can see right here, Dylan has now full access granted control to view the CompTia logo JPEG file. So now let's go into the next step. We are going to remove permissions specifically for Dylan. Now that we put that in, we now got rid of his permissions, and you can see right here, um, it says right here, remove G Dylan process file. So this now, that command that we put in for your iCals CompTia logo, remove Dylan, that removes specific permissions for a particular user that we didn't want. So that now gave Dylan, well, it now got rid of Dylan to not have any permissions um, for the particular file that he used to have access for um, the CompTia file. So now that we're here on PC10, we have to do something a little bit different. We're gonna type in File Explorer. We're gonna click on this, and we're going to go to this PC. Double click local disk. In the right pane, double click Lab Files. Right click CompTia logo, and let's see, CompTia logo. Click on your properties. Once you're done with this, click on your security tab, and then on security tab, click on advanced. And then once we're done with that, on the advanced security settings for CompTia log window, select the effectiveness access tab. All right, effective access. I apologize. So it says, what are the names on the other two tabs on the advanced security settings for CompTia logo window? So let's see. We see auditing and permissions, so I'm going to click on that. And let's see if that is our answer. Yes, sir, that is our answer. So next to user group, click on select a user. Okay, so we do that. We're going to click on that. And we have to type in for our field name, Dylan. Let's put that into the object name. Click OK. So now that we're set with that, we have to select View Effective Access. Let's click on that. Now we have to scroll down to the window to view the current effective access for Dylan on this file. So it just says select OK and OK to return. So it says notice that the user does not have full control, change permissions, or take ownership. Okay, so it says right here, yep. Therefore, they must not be a member of the power users group. The effective access tool is a predictive utility. It does not actually change the group memberships or access permission. It can be used to test a hypothesis or to troubleshoot access issues. Also, if a file object could be accessed through a share, the user or group share assigned permissions are included in the effectiveness evaluation. So yeah, we're just going to click on OK and just click on OK again. And then we'll just close File Manager because all we're doing, we're just taking a look at what we needed to see. So I'm going to get rid of that, move on to this. Now that we're back on PowerShell, we have to enter a new code here, which is our SMB share description. So once we're here, click on this, or just type this in if you guys are doing this by yourself manually. So we're going to click, we're going to put this code in, new SMB share lab files, all this little, jumbled words. So now that we have that, that should run, and this is going to create a brand new share that we're going to add to the file structure. Now that we have that, we have to enter this following command to view the current shares. This is get SMB share. Now it says right here, what is the name of one of the pre-existing shares on PC10? Type one of the names exactly as it appears in the result from get SMB share. So let's see, what is the name of the, okay, let's see. This is a little bit tough. I don't know what exactly this is. Let's see. It says, what is the name of one of the pre-existing shares on PC10? Oh man, this is so like, wow. I haven't seen this in a while, but I want to say, let me try this one. Let me do lab files. Let's try that one. Okay, that's not it. Let me try admin. Admin? Let me try that one. All right, good. We got it. We got it. We got it. Yeah. Let's go. We got that. Wow, that was a little bit difficult, but I was able to get it right. So now that we have that, we have to enter the following command to view the lab file share permissions. So after we had completed this task, if you guys had figured that out, I think the reason how I figured that out was simply because I looked at the name and it was connected to the remote administrator to the Windows. So that was like basically yeah, that was basically like one of the connected shares that was being connected to your lab files. Well, yeah, it says new SMB share lab files path, C lab files share for lab files. So it created that right there. But then when you got the SMB share, your administrator was connected to the C Windows for your remote admin. So yeah, that was pretty tough, but I was happy that I got that done. So yep, let's get this done. Now that we have this, we have to put in get SMB share address, that being lab files, and then once that is loaded up or entered in, you put in this command right here, grant SMB share access lab files to account name Dylan, access right change. This is going to grant the user Dylan change permission on the share. So now it's going to prompt me if I want to continue with yes or no. Type in yes, put a capital Y in there, press enter, and now it's going to automatically display the permission results after applying the change. So we need to now enter the following command to remove user Dylan specific permission on the share. We put this in there, populate that, and then it's going to ask you if you want to continue. Put yes or no, put yes again, and good. Now we have the command that will automatically display the permission results after applying the change. So now that we have that, we just move forward with this, and this is pretty easy. So we basically got this done. Now we just have to answer these questions. What command would return test file to its original permission settings of read write? Yeah, this is pretty yeah, read write read. Yeah, I want to say this is let me do 644. Yep, I am right about that. I'm right on the money. Let's go. Yeah, that was actually pretty tough, but 644 is usually like this command right here, and 710. I know that we just did that, but that's like RX RRWRR. Yeah, like I said, if you guys want to like refresh like your memory on Linux read write permissions or file permissions, just go onto YouTube and that'll teach you everything you need to know, because trying to remember that off the top of your head is like trying to remember the AXI code values of like every single number within the American AXI code numerical value for like, okay, the letter A means 97, and yeah, like basically that is like making yourself know everything, like you're like an AI robot getting ready to just know everything for an exam when you clearly don't clearly remember everything that that you studied for. So that's basically how I see it with like looking at Linux file permissions. Like that is like the most difficult but most annoying thing to do for anybody that ever gets into that. Okay, number two, let's get this done. We are basically right there to finish. All right, what is the NTFS file permission that grants a user complete access over a file object? That is full control. Yes, sir, we got that. Windows effective access. Effective permissions are calculated based on what permissions or conditions select all that apply. Um, this would be group membership. And let's try share permissions and user. Okay, that's not it. Let's try these three. No, let's try these two. Oh my god. All right, let me pause this out and I'll find the. Okay, I found the answer. So apparently all four of these answers are the right answer, because if I were to just go with like all three of them, it's not going to give me the answer for that because it's not correct. But it's apparently all four of them, because with Windows Effective Access, it's calculating on the options or conditions for what is possibly effective for affected permissions. So it's testing the user, the share permissions, the group membership, and your system workstation computer. So this will all give you the parameters for what you're searching for within a particular computer configuration for what you're testing for. So that's really effective if you're trying to like prioritize and manage certain things that you're trying to look into for particular information that you need to find. So now that we have that, it says right here, if a user has read, write, or modify on a file that they access through a share, what level of permissions that what level of share permissions must they have to be able to alter the file contents? Oh, okay. If they have rewrite and modify on a file that they access through a share, what level must they have to be able? Okay, you need to have. Let me do full. Oh, you might need to do read permissions. No, it's not that. Let's do full control again. No, that's not it. Okay, let's do modify. Oh, that's not it either. I think it's read. I'm gonna go with read. Let's try that. Oh my god, wow. Alright, I guess it's change permissions. So, okay, so basically, I think I read this wrong. It's saying if a user has read, write, and modify permissions on a file that they can access through a share, so that's most likely going to be like a web shared server, what level of share permissions must they have to be able to alter? Oh, okay, I get it. So it's a level of share permissions. So if you're sharing files with other users, there needs to be a certain type of permission set where the user is to be able to alter the file's contents within it. So that would be the change permission. So that makes perfect sense, because if you don't have that, then the users on the shared server, let's just say if I create a server for like 500 people, and let's just say I have like a little community where I'm sharing data within everybody of the server that has permission to access the server, but the problem is that they're not able to change the contents of a file that they're sharing around within the server. That is something that a user would have to be given access to, be given share permissions to be able to alter file contents that is shared around between the shared server of many other users. Whether if it's like an open source situation, if you're like a coder, and let's just say if you have data that you're trying to like update into like the file contents, that would have to be set in place. So therefore, the server configuration settings can be set for all users that are able to modify the contents of a file. So therefore, they're not being restricted to, I guess, like put in data for a file that's not effectively, how should I say, it's not effectively restricted. So, yeah, that makes yeah, that makes a lot of sense because I would never think of it like that, but that actually makes perfect sense because what if you don't have that access as a user that's part of like a server that's like sharing code for, like, let's just say, like, I'll say like video games and stuff like that, and you need to like share data around in order to like fix a particular file that you're trying to like mod. Let's just say if you are part of like a modding community and they have like a massive server where everybody can like go in and like modify files for a particular game, like let's just say Call of Duty, or let's just say like Mortal Kombat, and you want to like build some mods out of it, but you don't have like the proper resources to like to access like the files, but other coders are giving you the access to give you the files to like modify, and you can put the code right in. Yeah, that would be really awesome. So that that's like a really good feature to have when you're running server connections to like give people that ability to kind of like fix things up. So yeah, I like that. That's really interesting. All right, last one. What command line tool can be used to view and set Windows file permissions? Man, this is quite interesting. Oh, I know this. This is iCals. All right, we're good to go, man. Yeah, that was pretty fun. That was really fun. That was really effective, and yeah, that's pretty much it, man. The reason why I said iCals right there is because your iCals command line tool will always be used to view and set Windows file permissions. So you're able to see the access that is granted to all users. Let's just say if you are a systems administrator, or if you are looking at data alone, and let's just say if you are, I don't know, I guess within the cybersecurity sense, if you're like a security analyst, I would assume that your iCals command is very effective to look at Windows file permissions of who was able to access certain files at certain given periods of time. So that's a very effective tool to kind of give yourself that edge to know where things are so you're not confused with anything. So, yeah, I find that to be really effective and very good to do. So yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. I got two done for today, so that's gonna be like my time for today, and I hope you guys enjoy that. We got a 100% out of that, so that's not really hard, but I will say just always be weary to kind of like look at what you're taking a look at. Um, this will definitely help you prepare for the exam if you guys are having to struggle with like maybe like let's just say like lab based performance based questions that are probably going to be asking you stuff like that. But I will say like doing these type of labs are really fun and they'll definitely get you ready for the exam. But always practice on a bunch of questions, practice on performance based questions. I'll definitely get that done. I don't think those will be hard at all, but I'm just trying to grind all this out for you guys, and then once that's done, I'll do PBQs, and then that's it, man. So, all right, guys, thank you guys, and I will see you guys later. I got more videos coming out, possibly next weekend. I'm gonna get these labs done a lot faster. So, thank you guys for watching, and until next time, be safe, be free, and thank you guys for watching the Cyber Sector Initiative Zone. I'll see you guys. Bye.